Shalom. First, I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem, HaKadosh. Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and elders of Great Millstone, from whom I learned this truth. Shalom to the 144,000 elect. I am Mayakala. And I wanted to do this lesson on seeking counsel or getting guidance, especially when embarking on something that you don't have any knowledge of, you don't have any understanding on. It's always a wise thing to get counsel, to get understanding, and if not from an elder or someone who has experience, you could at least, depending on what the subject matter is, try to research it, look it up. But you always want to get guidance when you're getting ready to embark on something that you haven't encountered before, just to get some understanding, to get guidance. And this won't be very long because I have just a few verses that I wanted to bring out, reading in Proverbs. But like I said, you always want to try to obtain guidance, and always try to find some type of way to do research to guide your steps, to help you to formulate a plan. And even when entering into this truth, of course, the Lord is guiding your steps and is guiding you, and it's the one that causes you to put it on your mind to even turn back to Him. But once you do decide that is the step that you want to make or take, and you have to get guidance, you have to get an understanding, and the scriptures are a guide for you. Because once you decide that you're going to turn back to the Lord, and you want to change your ways, and you want to step away from the worldly ways that you may have been engaged in, you need guidance, you need understanding. So you have to go to the scriptures. And not only just go into the scriptures, because you open the scriptures up and start to read and not have understanding. So you have to seek elders and seek those men who have that understanding. And the men of Great Millstone have the 100% truth of this scripture that's been revealed to them through the Holy Spirit. So you want to seek guidance. You want to seek those elders, the apostles. Search out their videos. When you see them on the highways and byways, stop and listen and ask questions, because that's seeking counsel, that's seeking guidance, and it can lead you in the right direction. But the first verse that I wanted to bring out is in Proverbs chapter 11, in verse 14. It says, "Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors there is safety." All right, so when you're seeking counsel and you're seeking the right guidance, it can lead you in the right direction. Let's look at this word counsel real quick. And it is H8458. And I'll give you a pronunciation of it.
Strong's H8458. Tach-buloth. Tach-buloth. And second entry, Tach-buloth. Tach-buloth.
All right, so under the biblical usage, it says just that. It says direction, counsel, guidance, to get good advice, wise advice, counsel. 1A says direction or guidance, counsel, good or wise counsel. All right. So it is always a wise thing to do, to walk blindly into the situation, or not walk blindly into whatever it is that you're trying to accomplish. If you don't have understanding, you want to go to someone who can give you that understanding for whatever it is you're trying to accomplish. If you're trying to build something, you want to get guidance, whether it be getting knowledge from someone who is kind of who has done that type of thing before, or even if you open up a box of something that you want to put direct together, it's got directions in it. It's going to give you direction on how to put that certain object together. All right, you go blindly into it and put the wrong screws in the wrong place. It's got different size screws, but you just grab screws and start putting them in there. You're going into it blindly. You're not making a wise decision. You're going to end up ruining something, or you're going to have something that's going to break down because it's not put together the right way. You didn't even seek counsel. You didn't seek guidance to make sure it was done properly. All right. And verse 14 says, where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Just like I said, even if it's something that you're trying to devise a plan for, you're trying to make or trying to construct, you want to have guidance on it. You want to make sure that even before you begin a project, you want to make sure that you're able to see the project through and you're able to finish the project. All right, it's just like when you make a decision you want to enter into this truth and get the understanding and begin to do the work for the Lord, that you don't step into this and then walk away, because it's not just about stepping in and stepping away and having one foot in and one foot in the world, because you haven't changed. You haven't gone in any steady direction. You know. So you want to make sure that you're able to endure until the end, and that you're able to see whatever the project is that you're constructing. You want to see it through. See if I can find this. I'm gonna go. Let me see. I'm gonna go over to Luke. Chapter 14 and verse 28. And this is in the red letter. So this is Yahushua speaking. It says, for which of you intending to build a tower sitteth not down first and counteth the cost, whether he have sufficient to finish it? So that's what you're doing before you beginning a project, before you beginning to enter into some works. You want to make sure that you're able to have everything that you need in order to make sure that you see that project through and that you continue and endure until the end. In an NLT it says, but don't begin until you count the cost. For who would begin construction of a building without first calculating the cost to see if there is enough money to finish it? Otherwise, you have a project that you began and it ends up sitting off in the corner somewhere and it's never finished. You never saw it through because you didn't count the cost first and make sure that it was something that you was taking into account. You were considering everything that you would need in order for yourself to be able to see it through. All right, but I want to go back into Proverbs because that's where I mainly had the verses that I wanted to go into. I'm gonna go into back into Proverbs chapter 12 and verse 15, and it says, the way of a fool is right in his own eyes, but he that hearkeneth unto counsel is wise. That word hearkeneth means to listen to counsel, to seek counseling, to seek someone who's going to be able to help you see it through. But a fool, like I said, won't count the cost. He'll begin a project and jump right into it without even doing any research, without even getting understanding on how it's done, how to see it through to completion. That's just blindly walking into a situation that you have no idea on how you're going to see it through, and how you're going to finish it. I'm going to go over to Proverbs chapter 13. And I just had a couple more of these, and then that'll be the end. Chapter 13 and verse 10 says, "Only by pride cometh contention, but with the well advised is wisdom." And in the NLT it says, "Pride leads to conflict. Those who take advice are wise." All right, and that's exactly what can happen when you prideful about a situation. You feel like, I know what I'm doing. I know what this is about. I'm gonna go ahead and do my own thing. Well, that's usually what happens. You end up in a situation where you can in conflict with yourself. You're unsure about your own steps. All right. It says those who take advice are wise. Don't ever put yourself in a situation where you're entering into something and you're not even advised on how to finish it, on how to see it through. And let's take a look at this word contention. It is H4683 in the pronunciation.
Strong's H4683. Matzah.
All right, and it says strife or contention. Let's look at the etymology of the word, the root of the word. I'll give you a pronunciation again.
Strong's H5327. Natsah.
So contention is more to struggle. Definition 2 under biblical usage says to struggle, to strip off, make desolate, or to fall into ruins. Let's see what it says under the Strong's definition. It says a primitive root, properly to go forth, to be expelled, and consequently desolate, casuatively, to lay waste, also to quarrel, to be laid waste, ruinous, all right, to strive. And that's mainly the point that I wanted to get to, was that contention means to quarrel, all right? That's what walking into something blindly, especially when it's involving a partner or somebody you want to enter into some works with, and pride will make you step into a situation and lead someone to believe that you got understanding on the situation, and they're thinking that they're leaning towards you to see if you do have the understanding. And when they come to find out exactly what kind of understanding you have, which is none, on a particular situation, it's going to lead to quarrels. It's going to lead to strife. It's going to lead to quarreling, problems, conflict. All right? That's because you didn't seek leadership. You didn't seek guidance. All right? And usually I've found that just depending on what the subject matter is, you can get guidance from one who has experience. You can get guidance from one who's an elder, or who's traveled, who's been through many situations and experienced for themselves firsthand, gone through the situation. Just like you can find guidance and counsel in the men of Great Millstone. Even though there's a lot of situations, there's a lot of brothers that are not even elders of mine, that are younger, much younger than me, that I've gone to for counsel and getting and seeking counsel, and have had righteous counsel from these men. You know, they are men who understand His word and can give guidance on how to get understanding of what you're reading when you're going through the scriptures. All right? And in some instances, it might be a situation that you're entering into where age and wisdom and just experience can be of help to you. Let's see if I can find this. I don't have an apocrypha on that phone, but I'm going to check on my other phone here. This is Ecclesiasticus chapter 34. In verse 9 it says, "A man that hath traveled knoweth many things, and he that hath much experience will declare wisdom." It can be a situation where you can just you can get guidance from a person who has the experience, who've gone through a certain event, who can give you guidance just because of the wisdom that they've acquired, just for having gone through it, for having experienced a certain thing. All right, and you want to be careful even in that instance, because you always want to seek counsel from someone who has successfully gone through a certain situation. All right. In other instances, it might be a thing where they might not be able to tell you what to do, but they can definitely tell you what not to do just because of their experience. All right, but I'm just going to go back into Proverbs because I have just one more that I wanted to bring out. And it's Proverbs chapter 20 and verse 18. Says, "Every purpose is established by counsel, and with good advice make war." So even in something such as war, there has to be a plan, there has to be a contingency in order for you to go into war. Who wants to enter into war just to lose, all because you haven't planned for it? It says in the NLT verse 18, it says, "Plans succeed through good counsel. Don't go to war without wise advice." Who wants to enter into a war without having a plan? Who wants to enter? What coach wants to take a team into a game without having a game plan? You set yourself up for failure. All right. But just in the interest of time, like I said, I'm not going to make this long. And I pray that this has been edifying to the listener. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahashim, Yahweh Shai, Bahashim, Racha HaKadosh. Shalom.